momentarily. Bharat, is it showing live for you?
Let's check again. Same, it's different.
We are live. We are live.
You're live? Cool. Let's
On a
go.
different link, but we are live.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. I think it will take some time for the migrants to show up from the other stream.
On a different link? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Another technical difficulty for this content when we try to act too professional. So that should set the tone for today's episode. Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the Discontent podcast. I'm Aditya Khanna. With me are Bharat Misra.
Hi.
And Himanshu Arya.
Hi guys.
ये audio के लिए हाँ Delzad. I'm just explaining to you why we are doing all these audio cues also. So yeah, and joining us today is a very special guest, a very good friend of ours, and a very talented actor as well. And his name is Delzad Hiwale. Hello, Delzad. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, I'm really happy to.
So Delzad, those of you who don't know, was recently seen in the new Netflix anthology Ankahi, Kahaniya, where he was in the short film directed by Abhishek Chaubey, out of the 3 short films, which was not because Delzad is a friend, but it was also my favorite short film out of the 3 of them. And I think the reviews say so as well. Delzad, this might get awkward. This might have to be the most well-behaved episode of Discontent where we won't be able to. Delzad knows how intensely we can sometimes rip apart films when we're talking casually. So we'll have to try to be on our best behavior. Okay, Bharat, Himanshu. We have to, because we have a professional in our midst.
Yeah.
So congratulations first of all, Delzad, on the film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really happy.
And we saw the film in the past 24 hours, all of us, and we absolutely loved it actually.
Yeah.
All of us. I can say this for Himanshu and Aditya also, and especially the way you guys have acted, you and Rinku, both of you guys. So congratulations on that. I'm sure you're getting some good feedback from a lot of people.
Yeah. A lot of unknown people are messaging on Instagram and all. Never happened. This never happened. Like,
Is there a Delzad fan page yet, which has more followers than your own Instagram account?
मैं बनाता हूँ, मैं बना
एक
रहा हूँ.
बना दो यार कोई ये कोई
Yeah,
please.
stop it.
The
Guys, on
people in the
chat.
chat, somebody like make a Delzad fan page. Delzad, by the way.
मेरे पास फोटोज है Delzad के, मैं बना सकता हूँ, अपलोड भी कर सकता हूँ.
Oh हाँ, Himanshu has all those unedited
Portfolio photos हैं, भेजे जा सकते.
So I have to say this to 10 people right now. So before we get into the film and talk to Delzad about his acting process and everything, all those good things, just to as a full disclosure, Delzad has been a very good friend of ours. Delzad was previously employed by the formerly known as Politically Incorrect Films.
I was interning there twice.
He was an unpaid intern twice, during which time we made some pretty cool stuff together. And some of it you can see on our channel actually. If you go down to our channel videos, you'll find Kach Raja, a film in which he acted. Also Cowman, which is way back, which was a film that I actually wrote and directed, and Delzad acted in it and elevated the material greatly. Also is our acting workshop that Delzad has done for us, directed by Himanshu, which is my favorite acting workshop of all time. So all of you budding actors, you must watch Delzad's process to understand a professional actor's process. So yeah, just starting off on that note, Delzad, how do you feel, man? How does it feel to see your face on like a Netflix anthology, you know?
I'm okay with it. I'm not so well versed with Netflix and all. मतलब honestly, तो अच्छा ही लगता है. मतलब I just hope it opens up more doors so that काम मिले. मतलब credibility has been a huge thing for the last 10 years. I'm just struggling to get that. So now, मतलब all this is okay. All this is बाकी का stuff, but काम is what is important. So if people start approaching me, that will be really worth it. Because all this, like, because during Hoor also a lot of like, you know, whatever, this people watching the videos and getting million views and followers increasing or whatever. I have 900 followers, so whatever. So, but the main thing is काम मिलना चाहिए. So credibility is what is important. So I'm just waiting for
For
that.
give people context, Hoor is for those of you who don't know, Delzad has been in the industry for quite a while. He's been in several films and ads actually. And the most recently, I think in Hindi medium, he played younger Irfan Khan. So that's what he was referring to, or Hoor, which I know there's a very funny story of that because I remember when you were interning with us, or is around the time when you had gone for that shoot, and then you told me when the song went online, there were dudes who were DMing you to ask you who the girl is and if you have her number or some shit.
Kajana
That is,
Sangi. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So
so
this is
many of them. They're like messaging me, you did a really good job, but who's that girl? Like, so formality ke liye you have done a good job, but who's that girl? So,
Nice.
yeah, just the struggles of an actor in Bollywood. So yeah, Himanshu, Bharat, any of y'all, if you want to start off with your impression of the film. I mean, Delzad's film we're talking about because that's clearly the most important one for us right now. So yeah,
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, please.
While watching the movie, I had like a few questions, and
okay.
I just wanted to know if that kind of thought has gone behind this film,
Okay.
because this film seems to be very well detailed, with its color and composition and framing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know if uh, if you guys had these compositions planned out before, these frames. Like a lot of times you are framed within frames, right? Like even in the room that you are in, that you're living in, it's like we always see you in some sort of a compartment, and then your opening shot, the first time we see your face, it's between while you're poking your head out from the projectionist's room. And
Yeah.
like a lot of times you're always inside like a box, and then some
Correct.
moments are there when you are not inside a box, and suddenly there's this moment of clarity when you look at Manjari, and you decide that you guys can't be together. And at that moment, there are no boxes around you. It's an open field. So I just wanted to know if such things were discussed, and were you a
So,
part of that kind of discussion?
no, I was never a part of the framing discussion or any of that. But to Abhishek sir's credit, I don't know if you guys know this, but Avinash Arun is the DOP on the film. He directed Patal Lok.
I do
Oh,
know.
dude, I love Avinash Arun also directed Killa, by the way, right?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Directed Killa
Brilliant
too.
film, yeah.
So he was the DOP on the film, and this film was actually supposed to happen back in 2019, but it was shot in 2020.
Okay.
So what happened is, I don't think it was going to be a Netflix film before. That happened later when Ashi Dua came on board. But so Abhishek sir had this story in mind like for a year. So I was finalized also a year ago. Rinko was also finalized a year ago. And then when Ashi Dua went up to Abhishek sir, that's when they got it on Netflix and all of that happened ahead. And then that's when the film went ahead. So I think they got a lot of time to go through to the location. We shot in South Bombay. There's a old theater in South Bombay. So Avinash sir and Abhishek sir got quite a lot of time to like prepare and go to the place and discuss how to shoot and what to shoot. I don't know whether all of it was planned, but I think uh, Abhishek sir is a kind of director who is like half of it is preparation, half of it is like improv. So he'll like prepare some things, but he'll still keep some things like ambiguous, so that when you go on set, something new could come out of it. So I'm not pretty sure of how much of it was planned, but I think when you get someone like Avinash Arun on board, everything gets like the layers automatically start coming in discussions and all. So I think that is more the key, because the comfort between them, and they're both really creatively like they're geniuses, literally. Like working with them was like a humongous experience. So I'm really happy, and I think so when they are so creatively involved, and when they go to the set and visit the set several times, automatically those ideas start popping in. Because I remember them getting excited about the framing so much while we were, especially in that scene that Himanshu mentioned. I didn't get it why, because I was just doing the character and I didn't understand what they're talking about. But now when Himanshu said this, I realized that okay, this must be what they must be talking about. So I think it is half preparation and half like improvising. But I think that's what works really well, I think.
Yeah. I think also there is one beautiful shot that I was thinking about. There is a shot and counter shot where you're opening the door, the steel door, you know,
Yeah.
and while the door is closed, naturally you're framed from between those shackles, right? But when you open the door, we suddenly cut to her, who's now in shackles. Even though the door between you is opened, the audience never gets to see any of you without those shackles. And that I felt was very, very interesting. I mean, these are the little, you know, rich texture, things that get added, which were very, very interesting. And also what Himanshu mentioned in the very end of the film, it is almost like, you know, it is almost like seeing your loved one or the object of your affection in the middle of a crowd and seeing them in the atmosphere, and that's when reality hits you. Yeah, I don't want to be with this person, maybe, you know, this person who does not stand up for me in XYZ situation, or this woman who is so unkind. I thought of her as some sort of a dream girl, and now she's so unkind, you know, to that beggar or somebody. So genuinely, I think it's just like a masterclass in filmmaking, and how much you can do with each shot, the meaning you can add to each shot, which is why I think it really worked for me. Any other thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, you know, for me also, that the last part of the film was beautiful personally, mainly because I love how this film, like, in a very short time, because it's a short film, so it moves it has a very rigid pace. I feel the film from the beginning, it moves very quickly, it lets things happen very quickly, and I think there's a very good reason for that, because it's trying to subvert the trope of falling in love that we see in cinema, right? And which you will see literally in this film also, with which was my favorite sequence, which I put on my Insta story also, of Delzad. I would love to watch Delzad smoking a cigarette and like doing that. I just loved watching that. But no, so seriously though, the reason I loved this film was because एक तो पहले वो दिखा रहे हैं how you fall in love in cinema, and how these people who have various levels of oppression on them are sort of escaping, which is cinema को जैसा हम escapist medium बोलते हैं, तो they are literally escaping from this thing. And towards the end of it, I love how I don't know what to make of it, to be very honest, because I don't know if it's a criticism of these people, or if it is something that is just said as a matter of fact. But the fact that these people fell in love so easily, they fell out of love also very easily. If it took one or two glances to fall in love, it took one or two glances to fall out of it. So it talks about a little bit about that mentality also, which I found fascinating, and I would love to watch it once again for sure. Also,
I think
send Delzad photos and make memes out of them.
I think the major factor in that whole whatever you talked about is the fact that they're really young. So you know, when we fall in love for the first time, it seems like, you know, the whole world around us is changing and it's all filmy. I think everyone's first love is kind of a bit, you know, butterflies and flowers and rainbows and stuff like that. But then you very quickly realize that, okay, maybe this is not what it seems like. In fact, when we were discussing it, Abhishek sir very clearly said that obviously during the romantic scenes you have to be completely in love, but do have this realization that maybe it's not even love in the first place. You know, so that is the key, especially towards in the end, to pata hi chal jata, because I think love as a word is like really heavy. Like, you know, you put it onto these two young little characters who are just trying to struggle and find their happiness in each other. So maybe it's like infatuation, maybe it's like, you know, just finding happiness in something, because the lives are anyway so miserable. So thoda sa, even if there's a bit of excitement apart from that, that becomes like a big deal. So I think that is how it plays out. And
also, also the whole thing of the graduate wala jo ending hai, which is if you guys have seen The Graduate, which is they basically run away from the altar and he saves her from this marriage, and now they're in love and they're running away in a bus, and then it ends on both of their faces realizing, fuck, like what next, you know, which is something that Sairat also kind of, one of the themes of Sairat obviously was about this, which is another thing segue into Rinku Rajguru. Man, I was I didn't know actually that the two of you all were in this film. So like I didn't realize it was the same actor from Sairat. How was that? Like, were you, because have you seen Sairat? Because I know Delzad watches frightfully less amount of films.
Yeah, I
For
do
an
watch
actor.
it. But I watched Sairat. I watched
Huh.
Sairat. I watched it in the theaters, in fact, and I've watched even the making of Sairat quite a lot because I'm really obsessed with Nagraj Manjule.
Hmm.
He is a brilliant director, man. He's literally revolutionized like the Marathi industry, and I'm really waiting for Shivaji. He's doing Shivaji next, like a trilogy.
Oh, is it?
So
Is that
Oh,
the one with Amitabh Bachchan?
no, that is
no,
Jhund.
that is
That is
Jhund.
Jhund.
That is
Sorry.
Jhund.
Okay.
But after that, he's doing a trilogy with Ritesh Deshmukh, and it's a Shivaji ka trilogy. Hai. So I'm really excited. So I was honestly like a fan of Rinku because she's uh and to be very honest, it seems like she might be like this humongous actress, like in terms of her whatever work she has. She's won a national award, but
Right.
her approach is really simple, yeah, guys. Like she doesn't, and I think what is important over here is the fact that she grew up in a village. So
Hmm.
the most actors and actresses that we know, they're really at least in this young age, they're really
Urban.
Bollywood films, camera.
Uh,
But she has nothing to do with all of that. In fact, she'll sit on the set and she'll play with kittens or dogs, and she's maintained that very well, despite getting such humongous. I mean, we were shooting at a bus stop, the bus stop scene in the end,
Yeah.
is that the
guys.
Shivneri bus stop in Pune?
No, no, no,
Uh,
no, no. It's
okay.
in Mumbai. It's on the outskirts of Mumbai, and
Acha.
you won't believe the number of people who are crowded over there. And every single one of them was for Rinku Rajguru. Everyone, not even Rinku Rajguru, Archie.
Archie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was shocked because see, I've worked with Deepika Padukone. I've worked with like Irfan Khan.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been around them, but this kind of stardom I haven't seen. I mean, they weren't letting the car move. We were in the car, and I was like, "What is happening?" And that's how big she is, and in some parts of Maharashtra. I mean, so but she doesn't take it seriously at all. In fact, even in interviews and all, she doesn't make any answer to philosophical. And it seems like whatever Abhishek sir told me, I did. It's as simple as that. Khatam. So,
तू ये मत
yeah,
करना
man,
लेकिन
that's
अभी we will ask a lot
नहीं
of
नहीं
shit. You
यार
don't be like
हाँ
कि मेरे
हाँ
को जो बोला
obviously
सर
यार
ने मैंने कर लिया
नहीं
types.
वैसे थोड़ी
But
But
how was it riffing
हाँ.
off of her? Like how, like acting with her? How was it like?
I think हमारी style थोड़ी सी अलग है in terms of acting because she to be very not that she's a lazy actor, but she learns her lines like this. I can't, like, it's not possible for me to go on set without learning my lines. I have to learn all my lines before the shoot ka first day. Otherwise, I'll be a nervous wreck on set. But she's like, in fact, the longest conversation that we have in the film is at the bus stop, and believe me, half an hour before that, she didn't know her lines properly. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? She's like, yeah, I'll learn them. And then she's reading, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay. So our methods are kind of, मेरा थोड़ा सा अलग है. मेरा 50% prep and 50% is being there and everything. He's just there. He's like, action, I'm there. That's it. And so I think the combination of that works really well.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the film yet, to be honest, so I don't know how it's looking on screen. But I'm really, really happy with the appreciation.
Delzad, by the way, has slept while watching his own film. I will not say which film, but he slept while. I am not saying which one. You acted in plenty on them. They can guess. But I've sat with him and he slept while doing that. So Delzad doesn't watch movies per se. So but I do one more thing about the film. Abhishek Chaubey, especially. I mean, in the previous anthology, Ray, I think, and on this one, I can be a little more frank because to usme nahi tha. But that one was I didn't like any of the films except for Abhishek Chaubey's Hangama Hai Kyun Barpa, which we discussed on our Chalchitra episodes. And that was a wonderful film. This was a wonderful film. Both of them had some element of magical realism in a sense, where these people sort of both of them have these moments of getting lost in each other and imagining these, which is, again, it's done a lot of times, something like this, but there is almost a grace with which he does this. If you notice, even in Hangama Hai Kyun Barpa, there was a scene where Manoj Vajpayee is addressing an invisible audience, and it doesn't seem corny at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem, it's done with a kind of endearing grace कि आपको ये नहीं लगता कि कुछ ज्यादा हो रहा है. कि most ऐसे सीन में ऐसा होता है कि people just go ham at it. Like अगर over, if you want to show this character going crazy in imagination, they just show कि पूरी दुनिया मतलब उड़ गई है, मतलब ऐसा. This was more like, I loved how Delzad is walking up to her and that guy is like, get like uska aisa, he's like, this is my girl or whatever. So I just really like Abhishek Chaube's filmography in general. These two films, of course, and Ishqiya, right? Abhishek Chaube,
Ishqiya,
Ishqiya, right?
Urta Punjab.
Urta Punjab. So,
Sonchiriya. You guys discussed Sonchiriya at a length on your
oh
channel.
yeah, we did discuss Sonchiriya at a length with Garima actually, who's also from.
Yeah,
our
I
podcast.
remember. I watched this. I
Yeah.
watched this.
Acha. So yeah, I mean, were you at any point like, what was your reaction? First of all, I want to know, have you seen these films of Abhishek Chaube?
I
Because
have watched Ishqiya.
okay,
I have watched Urta Punjab. I haven't watched Sonchiriya because I was supposed to play a part in it, and I was just like, oh god,
oh,
and it
वैसा
was
हो गया.
Abhishek Chaube. But then नहीं हुआ वो. I really want to watch Sonchiriya. But I watched Urta Punjab and I loved it. I absolutely loved that film. And I think he is very aware of what he's doing. I think obviously he's coming from the school of like Vishal Bharadwaj. I mean, he's literally prepared under him and Hani Trihan, both of them who have opened MacGuffin Pictures. So they both come from that Vishal Bharadwaj. So obviously realism is like this for them. But the fact that he plays around with this magical realism, I mean, honestly, when I read the script, I was like, okay, is this really, because Ray hadn't come out at that point of time, and this was too much for an Abhishek Chaube film, like a filmy, dramatic fight sequence. And I'm like, okay, this like. So I went and I literally told him this, that I can't believe this. I'm doing an Abhishek Chaube film with this in it. So then he's like, no, but I've done stuff like this before. I mean, I'm pretty. I love to play around with characters, and there's nothing so. It's not about the fact that he's so aware about it makes it so. I think Rajkumar Hirani also does some parts of that. I mean, in Zubi Doo, that Zubi Rubi song in Three Idiots.
Yeah.
So I think the important factor here is that the filmmaker needs to be aware of the magical realism and not make it pretentious. You know, it should not overdo it and just make the audience enjoy for those few seconds and come back. Don't dwell on it too much.
Like
So
the third film in this anthology. But yeah, that's my opinion. Not anybody else.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I wanted to ask something. There's this another film. While I was watching your movie, I was being reminded of another movie by Wes Anderson, and it was this movie called Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay.
Have you seen it or did you?
I've not watched.
Okay. So it's a similar story. There are
हिमांशु तेरे माइक में कुछ तो हो रहा है.
थोड़ा सा वो डिस्टरबेंस आ रहा है, थोड़ा सा फिक्स कर ले, देख ले.
कुछ बोल हिमांशु.
हेलो.
हेलो.
बोल.
So
वापस डिस्टरबेंस आ रहा है.
तब तक थोड़ा चैट लेता हूं, तब तक हिमांशु अपना फिगर आउट कर.
चैट सब पता नहीं, मेरे में तो स्टॉप है, तो मेरे को कुछ नहीं दिख रहा.
हाँ, या ज्यादा किसी ने लिखा है जीतेगा तो मुंबई ही, which is true. By the way, if you're here despite the Mumbai Chennai match today, so I would like to congratulate your Siddhartha Ganguly has said ecstatic to see four friends discussing and sharing the success of Ankahi Kahaniya. We'll watch this live again and repeat. We are seeing unplugged Delzad Hiwale. Good candid chat. I would.
Siddhartha Ganguly is one of my biggest supporters, to be very honest. He is the sweetest guy on this planet, man. And I don't know if you're watching this, but he's really, really sweet. He's been supporting me throughout.
Nice. He should start that fan page then that we were talking about in the beginning. I don't know if Siddhartha has a reference for this. I'm kidding.
He knows I'm really uncomfortable with all that.
I actually, one movie that I was reminded of while watching this, or Delzad, तुझे बता कि ये मतलब was this given as a reference at all? But Dharavi had a very similar, Dharavi by Sudhir Mishra had a very similar sort of scene, which had basically Om Puri plays this taxi driver in Mumbai. Hey, Delzad, you were also shown Dharavi in college, right? When we were in, it must have been screened for you as well, I guess.
We were screened like 500.
Yeah. So yeah, in that he imagines Madhuri Dixit like he imagines dancing with Madhuri Dixit while he watches her in a film, and then he dreams about her and stuff.
Okay.
So it was a similar sort of escapist
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
thing, though I think this one is much more concise. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah, अब
Himanshu,
मैं बोल
बोल
हाँ
बोल
बोला बोल
बोलूँ ना, ठीक है, क्लियर है ना?
clear है clear है.
हाँ, तो यार बस इतना बताना था. Moonrise Kingdom is a very similar film,
Okay.
and it's about two young kids,
Yeah.
Okay.
much smaller than you guys.
हाँ.
They meet in the middle of nowhere, and like it's a camp. They meet in a camp where they're basically, you know, Boy Scouts and stuff,
Mhm.
and they meet each other and they decide to run away. And
Okay.
and it's not exactly a love story because they don't fall in love really. They're kids, but they're having fun. They're listening to music, dancing, and
Mhm.
you know, joking around.
They
And
get naked. Yeah.
and there are people following them.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it's the other thing that's similar between Moonrise Kingdom and your film is that it's framed very similarly. Like
Okay.
it's the Wes Anderson movies, na, they frame very like symmetrically
Mm.
and so it feels like there is some sort of an inspiration from that movie and this movie. Like
Mm.
at least मेरे को personally a connection देखा. So I would suggest एक बार कभी मतलब you
Sure,
know
sure. I'll surely would love to watch it.
it's
Yeah.
also very funny.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Moonrise Kingdom is a damn funny film, but Delzad will not watch it. I know.
No, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Pakka dekhna.
But what's
Because
this
it's
thing about,
genuinely a very good film. Yeah.
what's this thing about you not watching movies? I don't know this.
There's nothing specifically like that. Yeah, it's just पता नहीं यार मतलब I like to watch only very few films. First of all, being very honest, I've not subscribed to a lot of these apps and whatever. I'm pretty orthodox when it comes to app management. I've started using Zoom now for these interviews. Before that, I didn't even use Zoom even like once in my. I don't think I've ever used Zoom properly. So I don't know, yeah. I don't have these apps and all, but I do watch a lot of films, but they are very specific. Like I love to watch one film several times. So if I like something, then I'll watch it a lot of times. It's like that. I really like Slumdog Millionaire. I've watched it a lot of times. There's बहुत specific films है जो मुझे पसंद है for specific reasons, and it's not only to do with the technicality of the film, it's also to do with the memories of the film.
Yeah.
Like with whom I was watching that film. For example, Sairat I watched with someone who have been in love with for like 13 years, 14 years of my life. So I would love to watch that again because I watched it with that person. So it kind of sends you back into what you were like at that point of time. I love to watch a lot of films that I watched with my dad too. So it's like that. जो films मैंने देखी है वही मुझे पसंद तो मैं वही वापस जाके देखता हूँ. Nothing specific why I don't watch, but अभी सब कुछ is available on these apps. So I don't have a lot of these subscriptions. I have Netflix as subscription, but I don't have other subscriptions.
Fair enough. I actually do want to ask you some more this thing about your acting and the whole, and I hate saying process because I kind of know your process a little bit now. But the thing is, in this film, it was very physical acting in the beginning, especially, and there is very little for you to do actually, right? Because there's not much dialogue. There is
Right.
a lot of it is just pure
Internal
expressions.
acting.
Yeah, it's just the body language and stuff. So is that difficult for you, or do you enjoy that process, or do you enjoy dialogue and you enjoy speaking, like manifesting your acting via your words and tone, or do you enjoy this where it's more body related?
Uh, I don't have a specific choice like that. I'm okay with both. Like if there are dialogues, I enjoy that too. If there is like more of physical like over here, I would enjoy that too. But the whole thing is that I should get enough time to prepare them, whatever it is, whether dialogues or the physicality. So for example, for this film, as I said, we were going to shoot a year in advance. So I knew that I was supposed to play this guy who is working in this theater. So I literally used to go to the single screen known as Alka in Pune, and I've recorded everything that they do, right from the canteen people. They used to make that sound, tring tring tring. I don't know if you guys remember, but वो drink के वो ये होते थे sounds, tring 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 in the interval. And reel तो मुझे नहीं जाने दिया in this theater, But I actually the theater that we shot at, I went there and I actually practiced fixing the reels, the machine and all. And I had those stamps because that also should be authentic. You know, it shouldn't look like, because they do it really quick. Tuck, tuck, tuck. They have to give like
Yeah,
100
yeah,
tickets
yeah.
and like, so
The opening shot.
all of that. Yeah. So if it is more of physicality, then give me time to prepare. You know, give me that much time to actually dwell and prepare, because
Yes.
otherwise it'll look fake.
You've
Uh,
spoken like a true freelancer, basically. कुछ भी कर लेंगे सर, आप बस टाइम दो मेरे को 2 हफ्ते तक. Basically.
even dialogues the same thing, na? Because I need time, because I need to learn my lines. As I said, I need to learn my lines before the first day of the shoot. So agar dialogue oriented zyada hai, then it becomes discussion with the director becomes really important, because it shouldn't just be, you know, talking. It should be understanding why he's saying what he's saying.
Hmm.
So wo I think both ways I'm okay with, but just I need a lot of time to prepare. Otherwise, it becomes so difficult.
Right.
I had a couple of questions also about, I mean, the process. But
Okay.
I was looking at the interview of Abhishek Chaubey about the movie and how he was talking about your eyes specifically, like how you're expressive with your eyes. And I think all the directors agreed with him.
Yeah.
And
Ashwini
he-
Ayyar was really sweet in that interview.
yeah. So he mentioned how the casting of the movie was very rigorous. So what was that like? Because I'm just genuinely curious about the kind of auditions that I am used to. Is like, हाँ lines दे दो, 2-3 variation दे दो, और देख लेते कैसे होता है. What is the kind of auditioning process that you had for this film? Because this is almost like a silent film, right? In a way. There are very few dialogues. So what was it like?
So Taran Bajaj has worked with me. He's a casting director. He worked with me on Hindi medium. He's worked with Hanisa for a lot of years. So Hanisa was first a casting director, who's a producer now. So him and Taran have known me for many years. Taran sir has known me for many years. So when Taran sir contacted me and he said Abhishek Chaubey, I was like, oh God, I hope this one works out, because Sunchiya did not. So I was like, I hope this one works out. Yeah, please. So then he sent me the scene at the bus stop where the dialogues were there.
Okay.
And Abhishek sir has seen my work, so I think he's seen Hindi medium. Jisme dialogues nahi the, it was more expression, because the whole thing is a song. So I think he kind of had an idea that I can do with the expressions, but whatever, how do I do the scene? And I think what worked for my benefit, which he has also mentioned in that interviews, I'm not beefed up. We have this thing, a lot of us actors, especially the ones who are not physically fit, have this thing about Aram Nagar boys. So there are these Aram Nagar boys who are like 6 feet tall and they're all buffed up. Nothing against them. I mean, they look really good, but because we can't look really good.
Is that a flex?
Shorts.
From you?
Shorts.
Because we don't look really good, we kind of hold it against them. So we kind of say Aram Nagar boys. So the fact that I'm not conventionally so-called in that structure, in that stature, I think it helps to put me into a character easily. So I think that is what, and the process was such that Taran sir sent me that scene. I did that scene and I sent it. I didn't even go there. I sent it online. And Abhishek saw, he called me for a meeting. I went and I read, and I was like, okay, leading role. And because Sonjit and I was supposed to play a supporting part, and I was like, okay, fine. I was like, okay. And he's like, do you want to do it? I was like, what do you mean? Like, obviously I want to do it. So then, वैसा था. So it for me it wasn't really rigorous. I just met him once, but I think for Taran sir it must be rigorous because he went through a lot of auditions.
Yeah, that's what. I mean, I personally find it just one like as a director, I'm also like doing the casting process day in day out, and it becomes really tough after a point because it's first of all यार Zoom audition है, तुम उसमें क्या micro expression देख सकते हो, you know, मतलब you have to judge by certain markers, so it's very difficult, and I'm glad that they found you and they worked with you, you know.
You know, related to this, what Delzad said about the acting industry in Bombay, very close to where I live. So I just have a question regarding that, and this is a larger question outside of the films and stuff, because I know Delzad lives in Pune and you work out of there, and you know how, like, why did you take the conscious decision of sort of staying in Pune? And of course, for context, you have had work since a few years, so people in the industry sort of know you. So I'm sure tera naam to pata hai logo ko, and they've seen your work. So at least there is that. So you will get a regular sort of काम का कुछ ना कुछ inquiry तो I'm sure आती होगी. So, but of course, being in this ecosystem, especially with, say, these days with the content industry booming, do you ever, as an actor, because I know for a fact there was a show that I had written some time back with Bharat, and I remember when the casting process was happening for that, it was judged on the metric of number of followers on Instagram or Facebook and your combined following. So ये जो पूरा जो industry है, तो is it because of that that you said कि मेरे को इधर नहीं आना है, or is it that you had never intended to come to Bombay and operate in this active day-to-day ecosystem instead of staying in Pune and sort of fishing for roles from a distance?
No, to be okay, I'll be honest over here. Living in Bombay is really expensive. And my mom is a single mother who's handling everything. So, because even internships, to be very honest, I was really lucky to get to intern with you guys because you handle everything, right? From the expenses of the food to travel and everything. So, some amount of financial issues over there because to live in Bombay for months and months and to come and give auditions. I know I'm sounding too much like Kareeb or whatever. It's not like that. But
I get your point, dude. Like,
because literally even during internship and all, हम लोग एक दिन बाहर जाने खाते तो 500,000 रुपए का, like it just like flies off. So there is one reason of that. Also, I'm really attached to my mom. So living away from her becomes thoda sa difficult. Even during the internships, you know how much I was like going into the washroom and sitting for like. So I am thoda sa like that. So मम्मी से दूर रहना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है मेरे लिए. So I think those are the main reasons. Apart from that, I wish the industry wouldn't. I know about this whole thing where people look at the number of followers, but I think that is I think really good-looking people have a lot of followers on Instagram, right? Like, it all runs that way. People follow people who are and who present these happy lives or whatever. So okay, but I don't think I can like fit into that bracket. It's really awkward for me to like just present that. Even if you go on my Instagram, it's more about like, you know, my family and what I really love. Like if I have a pet, it will be about that. So I think I would rather keep it that way than making it all like, oh, I'm so good looking and I'm so, I don't know, it's just awkward to just advertise yourself like that. I was really awkward even sharing stories. Like I was asking my friend, is it rude if I don't share stories that people share because everyone does it? So then it's like that. So हाँ यार वैसा ही है.
I actually, when I was, because because you are not active on social media at all, so I saw these stories से तेरे आज या कल because people had shared. So I was thinking of that meme कि Delzad gets a Netflix show and entire SMC हम वो लड़के को जानते हैं. Like meme है ना, just basically. So you know.
मैं तो कर रहा हूँ यार, मैं तो सबको बोल रहा हूँ.
हाँ.
Manchu has been sharing the stories right from there. I've been thanking him so much for doing that.
Nice.
यार मैं तो सबको दिखा रहा हूँ. मैं तो I've been telling people that, you know, we put out a short film with him this year. Okay. Two short films, and then this is the third thing that came out of his this year. I know it's not connected and all, but in the minds of the viewers, it's kind of. Acha, एक question पूछो क्या? It's about the color of the movie. Is that fine? Coming back to the मेरा एक theory है, which I haven't read about it anyway. I don't know if it's legit, if it's a legit thought. So I just wanted to confirm it. Both the characters have a color palette. Yours is, I'm guessing, okay, it's red and blue, and hers is orange and green. And your color correction is also similar. So, and the lighting is also similar, and your clothes are also similar. Like you wear blue and red, and the light inside the theater is also blue and red. And a lot of times, like we see you in, you know, blue and red settings, and we see her in the orange light, and she's wearing orange clothes, and you know, she has a green handkerchief, which is like the thing that it's what do you call it? It's a word for these things, right? These things that
mise-en-scène क्या? नहीं.
हाँ वो भी हो सकता है, I think. Yeah. So at the moment when you guys are in the bus stop and you guys are talking properly for the first time, the color correction, suddenly there is no color correction. It looks like there is a moment of clarity where your own worlds are not you know, coming
Yeah,
together. It's
yeah.
clear, right? It looks like how it looks naturally.
Mhm.
And then when you guys go into your separate buses,
Hmm.
she's wearing red, and the color correction is blue on her,
Hmm.
and you are wearing orange, and you have the green handkerchief. So it
Boss,
feels
yeah.
like your colors have been exchanged.
डेजर्ट को भी अभी समझ में आ रहा है कि
समझ
oh
आया।
shit ये तो
Yeah,
काफी सही
when
था.
you said when you said red and blue, I was like, but I just realized that I'm wearing red and blue in that whole dream
Huh.
sequence too, and
Yeah,
it all made sense.
Yeah, he is. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of these things. Oh shit. Awful.
I don't know. I wanted to confirm it because I thought it that's what it looked like, but I'll have to watch the movie again to kind of watch it for that,
See, I have not watched the film yet, so I don't know how it's looking. To be very honest, I'm really see the reason I'm not watching. I'm really nervous. Yeah, I just want like a lot of people to watch it. Everything is settled down, then I'll watch it. But yeah, the thing is that with Abhishek sir,
थोड़ा
he
माइक
does.
थोड़ा सा दूर कर लो,
Sorry,
थोड़ा सा दूर
sorry.
कर लो.
हाँ.
हाँ,
So
उतना भी नहीं, but हाँ.
With Abhishek sir, the thing is that he does a lot of preparation. So most probably all of this is planned because the way you're saying it, even the costume and all, because it never made sense to me. Why is he wearing this? Right now it like connected. Maybe it could be just a coincidence. I'm not sure, but he does prepare a lot, and on set it seems like he's very relaxed and chilled. Because he's this guy who's sitting in the corner and doing his thing. Avinash sir is doing his thing, but they did have quite a few meetings, and I'm pretty sure there must be like if it is so thought out, I'm pretty sure there must be some thought process that must have gone in it. Honestly, I have not been aware of that prep because I was mostly involved with what the character is going through. But I'm sure I'll be able to when I watch it understand what you're saying better.
देखना डेल्ज़ाड अपने मूवी तो देख ले.
भाई 15 मिनट का 20 मिनट का मूवी है भाई, ये
I'm
इसमें
really
क्या हो
nervous.
गया?
I'm really nervous. देखता हूँ.
अच्छा, I will take some comments right now. Rohan Shiv, our college mate, has commented Delzi National Award, which
Oh
is great.
God.
Hey,
He's
Tiri,
been saying that for a
how many of your films have got national award now?
No, only
Chittagong.
Chittagong. Only Chittagong.
Didn't
Chittagong
Chauranga? Didn't Chauranga
Chauranga
also?
won Mami. Chauranga won Mami.
Ah, right.
In fact, it beat Killa, I think, if I'm not wrong. Avinash sir's film.
Oh, hey, that was the same year as Court also, I think.
I'm not
How
sure.
did it beat Court, dude? What the fuck? Sorry, that's a joke. There's another super chat, not super chat. I was dreaming about a super chat that somebody will
Okay.
pay us to read their comments, but it's a free chat. So Sagar Kumar, roll number 52, has said, "Congrats, Delzad. You have very expressive eyes. How was the experience working with amazing Abhishek Chaubey?" तो आई थिंक काफी बता दिया, बट अगर तेरे का कुछ ऐसा है बोलने के लिए which is like do you, because when you say Abhishek Chaubey, I like absolutely love I think he's a legend for Ishqiya alone, I feel, and Ded Ishqiya was even better in my opinion. So
I think Udta Punjab was like really it came out into the mainstream, right?
Yeah, and Sonchariya as well, I think like we really liked. So I mean, were you at all intimidated? Were you ever, did तेरे को ऐसा कभी हुआ कि मुझे that I want to impress this guy a lot or something like that? Because I don't know how you take, are you like a thorough professional or are you like कि तेरे दिमाग में चल रहा है थोड़ा थोड़ा कि मतलब like how can I land the next role kind of a thing?
नहीं, obviously वो तो चलता ही है, सबके दिमाग में चलता है that we want them to like us, and in fact especially me, I sent Abhishek sir a message in fact on Instagram a few days back saying that sir, I hope I didn't let you down and stuff like that. So obviously I want him to like me and like my work and me as a person, but honestly बोलूं तो नहीं यार, मतलब I think वो पकड़ा जाते हैं हम लोग, ज्यादा मस्का मारते हैं या ज्यादा if we are like too sweet or something, वो पकड़ा जाता है, तो it makes no sense, and plus I think if you're good at your work then नहीं जरूरत पड़ती बाकी चीजों की, अगर ऑनेस्टली काम करते हो कहीं कहीं से लोग नोटिस करके और काम मिल जाता है, तो as far as Abhishek sir is concerned, I really wanted to screen, not like off screen. In fact, me and Rinku used to have this thing they smoke these organic cigarettes, something like that. No? On set, they have these things that they smoke really organic cigarettes. So we both don't smoke. Rinku and me don't smoke. So we used to go up to Abhishek sir and be like, "So this is your last cigarette. Don't smoke." Or Rinku would be like, she would come and tell me to. She would like give me a dare to go and tell him to not smoke, and stuff like that. So he was pretty nice, and he gave us that open ground to be so comfortable with him. So he was pretty nice. So the credit goes to him also to make the experience nice. And yeah, he's nothing like so. I mean, we know it's a legend or whatever, Abhishek Chobe, but he's really nice guy. He's really simple guy. So hi, you don't need to like impress him or anything. He's very simple and he's just into his work, and we should also do the same thing around him.
Right. Yeah. There was another chat that I wanted to take. Rohan Mehra has said, "Hey, watch Kachraja and the next day Ankahi Kahaniya teaser drops off. Really enjoyed the 80s Bombay, which I did too. Amazing performance by Delzad. All the best for the future." So yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, just going back to the film, apart from your writing also, and if you will watch it, you will know what I'm talking about, which is the way that they've done, Bombay. I realize, it sort of gave me motivation as an indie person. Ki agar if I want to shoot someday, I think I can figure out how to shoot a period thing in the middle of the city also. Like it was shot. There were certain shots like in the double decker bus when the shot that was placed over there. Like you don't know what year this is shot in. So it's like a lot. It was
A lot
done
of
very
these
cleverly.
smart decisions, right? Even South Bombay itself.
Yeah, because a lot of places are still not changed over there. They're pretty much just like they were. So if you change the costumes, and if you take out the phones and whatever the modern things, it automatically becomes 80s and 90s automatically. So and we shot a huge portion of it in the theater, which is essentially not changed. It is still like that. And also I think what he did very smartly was he didn't shoot in the conventional Bombay or Mumbai, whatever. He didn't shoot at Mumbai, matlab, Marine Drive or what. He didn't shoot at any of those spots which are conventional. We shot at very spots that we haven't seen or explored on film before. So I think that was another interesting take, because it was a very conscious decision to not
Where
go
was
all.
where was that shot? The beach sequence?
It was some, I don't know where. It was not Marine Drive or anything. I don't know Mumbai too well, but it was some corner. We went through some very muddy spots, and it was really far
It was
away.
south of Bombay, or was it the other side?
Mud Island
I
sides, I
don't
guess.
know, South Bombay. हाँ Mud Island side होगा शायद.
Acha,
हाँ
Mud Island side. Okay.
side होगा हाँ.
That's
Because
I'm
Bharat,
not sure.
you and I have
I'm
been
not
there.
sure. अच्छा, I don't know.
Because
I'm
there's a
really bad.
lighthouse, right?
I have no clue, Himanshu. I have no clue.
I like. Hey, by the way, was this your first shoot after? No, sorry, I'm mistaken. I thought Kachraja was shot before the lockdown, but it released during the lockdown. That's what I realized. हमने एक साल वो प्रेशियस फिल्म को बचा के रखा जो हमने एक what was the dumping ground? Yeah, how we got the permission for that also. That was a fun. We've made Delzad do a lot of shit, by the way. Like
And I've enjoyed it so
yeah.
much. I've enjoyed it too much.
It was
Delzad के ना short films बहुत अच्छे निकले. Like even Kahaniya, if you guys remember, it's a dystopian, future where apocalypse आ चुका है and kind of very political, socio-politically charged.
In college, to think about these things is like really. I mean, you guys also, man. You guys made such amazing films, and it was really fun to be a part of all of that. It was real fun, and especially short film में उतना pressure नहीं होता ना, because इतना पैसे खर्च नहीं हो रहे हैं. तो chilled होता है थोड़ा सा, तो वो pressure थोड़ा कम होता है. So it was a lot of fun to do those films, and it helps you grow as an actor because इतना pressure नहीं होता.
Right. Shrivar Chotaria, who's also from our college, I believe, has sent a heart. Okay, that's what he said.
Rohan Mehra का interesting comment है.
Oh.
Please comment का experience share करो यार. Stop.
Comment का experience share करो वो कह रहा है.
Office stop बोला है क्योंकि start. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. Cowman, for those of you who've joined later, Cowman was a film that I had written and directed. It was my degree film, and Delzad acted in it. So yeah, I mean, मजा आया था, मुझे तो बहुत मजा आया यार शूट कर, मतलब ऐसे कुछ experientially, but it would be a very long story, I feel.
I think from an outsider's perspective, I really liked how Sushant, the other guy, who's a very good friend, and you guys like put both of them together, against each other. And
yeah,
both of them, I mean, Sushant has no acting experience before that and after. So,
Such a good job, yeah, Bharat. He did such a good job.
he
He did
did
a
a-
really good job.
and that I think it really worked out very well, because intentionally, unintentionally, it turned out to be very visually pleasing, because like you're saying, Sushant is a 6'4" guy, and Delzad is, I think, shorter than me also. So it's like a big disparity between these. So you immediately see, and a lot of the themes of the film, which by the way, किसी को अगर मतलब वो फिल्म के थीम का मैं अभी गारंटी ले रहा हूँ, मैं 19 साल का जब लिखा था, तो प्लीज मेरे को बोलना मत कुछ, मैंने तो ऐਵੇਂ कुछ भी लिख के ट्राई कर दिया.
that is Aditya's
Yeah.
version of the tweet that should never come out in adulthood.
Yeah, basically.
Not really though.
Not really. यार एक theory है यार. Do you think your character from Cowman could be the same character in this movie?
Oh God.
it could actually, yeah, totally possible.
It can, if you think of. I'll tell you one more similarity. Cowman का opening sequence में भी ना, you are going to 3 locations and it's cutting from one location to another, and अगले दिन फिर अगले दिन फिर अगले दिन, same location, same thing, but अगले दिन, right?
One
And
more,
this,
yeah.
And pacing
Yeah.
is similar. I also felt that, but I thought कि मैं अपना क्या बोलूं अभी.
The complicated father figure story,
Oh yeah.
So that's also
Oh,
a
yeah.
similarity.
Also, if anyone
In
is
fact, one more thing,
this,
I'll
the
do one
red
more thing.
shirt, the
हाँ,
red
बोलो.
shirt also.
Oh
He's
yeah,
wearing a red
correct.
shirt in that also.
God,
I'm
yeah.
just saying.
Also the
I'm just saying.
mustache ka thing, guys. Mustache ka thing.
Yeah.
In the dream sequence, he gets a mustache. In fact, me and
Yeah.
Abhishek sir discussed this at length. That should there be a scene where he takes kajal or something from that reel ka machine and put it up. And
Hey,
I was like,
did you
yeah,
not
I
tell?
was
Did
like,
you tell Chauvin sir there is this
told him,
guy?
I told him,
He's a writer. He's looking for work. So please get in touch for anything.
So yeah, me and him, in fact discussed this at length, that from the reel ka machine or something he could take and he could put it up. And I was like, oh God, we've done this actually, in a short film called Kahaniya. So
Yeah, that was fun, man. I think I got very lucky with that degree film, because while other people were sort of amateurish actors, and वो सब थोड़ा बकचोदी हो रही थी, basically college ही था. But I got Delzad, who was like a proper professional actor, to act in the film, which was really lucky, I thought. And that sort of I mean, a lot of things worked out very well for the film's fate, and I'm just very happy about that. Matlab, experientially, everything sort of fell into place. Like it was if you remember, it was a rather smooth shoot, no? Like pretty much like everything that was planned went exactly how we wanted it to, somewhat, apart from the last day.
except that one.
Anyway, so I'll move on with more chat, and then we'll come out to the film, and then we can conclude. But Shiva Chotaria said Keher took it away, next level filmmaking. Keher is a film by Pranoy. It's by Pranoy. Right? Yeah. So Pranoy also featuring Delzad. So you can watch it on YouTube, I guess, right? Somewhere. So
yeah, that's on.
I think Delzad was very like the most intense I've seen in that film. Like there's a scene, an entire sequence where I mean, I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, speaking to God, that one, right?
Yes. And that I think you shot it at like in Pune.
Next to a river. Yeah.
Very nice.
It was our version. So आज खुश तो बहुत होंगे तुम.
It's that river only, na, Mulla Mutta.
Mulla Mutta river.
और वही river अलग-अलग version में बहती रहती है.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And okay, so coming back to this film, is there anything that Bharat or Himanshu you guys want to touch upon in this film, or with Delzad about acting now that we have him? So just talking generally about the craft.
I mean, I was genuinely, I mean, I might know parts of this answer because I've like been in touch with, or been around people who know you, but like your career trajectory as an actor has been interesting because you're not on social media, you're not interested in all of that, which is very different from a lot of actors today. And secondly, you've not have had like a lot of films with, or you've मतलब जैसे हम लोग के दिमाग में ना, मेरे दिमाग में, आदित्य के दिमाग में, इवन हिमांशु के दिमाग में हमेशा चलता रहता है कि आगे यार ये करना है, अभी मेरा नेक्स्ट स्टेप ये होगा. So what is it in your mind and how do you see it? Like what's your plan, if any? If not, you can just say it, whatever it is.
So when I started out, it was all about the amount of work that I do. So I would be ready for anything and everything. I wanted to do the most number of films because in my head, the more number of films you do, the more popular you'll become. And at that point of time, I wanted to become a Bollywood hero. Please don't blame me. I was a 13, 14-year-old kid. But now when I've grown up and I've realized, I've looked at more actors. I'm a huge fan of Heath Ledger. I'm maybe his biggest fan. And the fact that he passed away when he was 27. And I've watched just, I think, 3 or 4 of his films because I don't watch many films. But the fact that he did just 3 or 4 films and to be considered to be one of the greatest actors that ever lived on this planet, at least for me, he is, that is a very big deal. So I realized that it's not about the number of films that you do. Maybe that will give you contacts and network and all of that. But I'll tell you what, if one film works, automatically all the work that you have done before that will benefit. I mean, when circus was happening, people didn't realize 20 years down the line, circus would be like a big thing. But even today, circus is talked about because Shah Rukh Khan is a big thing. So for me, it's about do only the kind of work that could be that potential to get that one film. And obviously I expect the next film to be that film, the next film to be that film. Hasn't happened yet, or hope this at least opens up more doors for me. But so I hope that वैसा कुछ काम कम काम हो but अच्छा काम हो जिसके वजह से credibility मिल जाए, उसके बाद ठीक है. So I have not planned anything yet, but I really want to work on films where I can spend some time with the characters. I've done films where I'm playing the supporting part. I'm not against playing supporting part, but I should at least get to prepare for it. Like I should have fun, like dwelling in that. It shouldn't just be like I'm not kind of against the fact that I did a film like Chapat. I love the fact that I worked on the film, but I would really love to dwell more into the fact that I had TV in that film. I wanted to feel more of that. And Neela Gulzar is an amazing director, and I love that film. But still, the fact that I didn't get to do that, I feel like I wish I could do. I wish I could explore what is happening in the hospital room with him too. But obviously, the film is about Malti, Lakshmi Agar, so it is about her. So I would really want to do projects where I can actually work on the character, even if it's supporting part. थोड़ा और काम करो अपने character पे, थोड़ा और मजा आए काम करने में. So it's that.
Maybe web series.
Maybe web series. Yeah, maybe web series.
It's a longer project and you get to live with those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very interesting.
I have a related question because you said when you were younger you had this sort of aspiration to be a Bollywood hero. Star. I'm just curious, what for an actor, especially an actor in your position who's voluntarily not again partaking in the digital boom economy of the whole thing of bumping followers, doing some 4 or 5 web series on YouTube quickly and then getting some fame and like that. It's like a whole thing now. It's a sub industry, So as someone who's not doing that and who is sort of doing his own roles like this, like the one we saw here, very meaty stuff, but few and far between, I'm assuming. So what is an aspiration for you now? Because for us, I know for the 3 of us, it is because we have certain stories or certain kind of stories that we want to tell. Like I know for a fact that if I am successful 10 years later, this is a film I want to do, or this is a show I want to pitch, that meri thodi auqat agar बढ़ गई हो in the industry to be able to pitch something as grand or something. So mere dimag mein already hai. But I'm curious, for an actor, how does that work? Who's not doing all these things? What is your aspiration? Is it more of a craft thing where you're like, I want to do the most meatiest role I come across, and as long as it's paying the bills and stuff, it's okay? Or is it something more than that, where it is, do you want to sort of, become a actor star zone?
See, I want to become an actor star because that will bring more work, obviously. But I honestly don't think utna far आगे का क्या होगा, मैं honestly नहीं सोचता अभी के लिए. To be very honest, in the mind space that I am, I think थोड़ा सा stereotype हो चुका हूँ मैं. because I've played thoda sa inferior characters in the past, like 3 films that I did, Hindi medium. Although it's not inferior, but it's with Sanjana Sanghi and it's this guy who's in awe of her.
Yeah.
So it becomes inferior again.
It's
And
always a sweet, submissive boy.
yeah. And then in Chapak, I play this guy who's going through so much, again, physical trauma. In this film, so much of mental trauma. So I think thoda sa I'm a bit tired of playing traumatized thoda se characters. I think वो एक stereotype थोड़ा बन रहा है. So maybe if I could break that, and that's what Chauranga did for me. I mean, no one imagined me to do what I did in Chauranga. I'm not talking too much about it, like as if I did some great job. But it was really a fulfilling experience because I broke out of that mold, because I was that cycle boy from Lava. But the fact that Vikas Mishra, the director of Chauranga, trusted me and helped me break that mold. I'm playing a crazy wacko in that film. So that helped me a lot. So I enjoyed doing that. So maybe stuff that helps you break out of these molds.
Yeah.
So after Chauranga, I did a Hindi medium, which is right at the opposite spectrum because it's romantic, it's sweet, innocent. But then now I'm trying to get out of that. So maybe the dream sequence a bit was an attempt over here, but
I remember watching Chauranga, and it's curious because Chauranga came around the time when we were going to shoot Cowman, and I remember, if you remember, we had a conversation about that as well, where I wanted your character to have that certain look from a certain shot in that film. But it's very interesting. This whole thing of, like, you're doing an indie film and then you're going to like a big budget. Is there like a kind of, because tu boy keh raha ki I get typecast into this sweet guy, or like in Chauranga you're like a wacko, right? Is there a role that you would like to do? Is there like a specific kind of a role, or is there a performance recently that you saw that you really enjoyed watching?
I honestly have watched very less lately. I'm kind of stuck here, but I really would love to do a more negative shades, to be honest, because that will help me break from this. So maybe I don't want to take a specific character's name, but I'll be very honest with you. Since childhood, my dream character has always been Max from Josh. I know people beat upon that film left, right, and center, but I really love that character, man, because he's kind of an orphan. He has this gang in which he thinks that he's really cool, but the fact that he gets beaten up in a police station towards the end of the film, I found it really, we can criticize it for the commercial
No, you don't
aspects
have to
of
be
whatever.
so defensive also, it's cool.
नहीं तो मुझे वो character बहुत बहुत पसंद है, and to be very honest, that's in fact the first character I ever played in my life, because in school we had an Eagle gang, and I was Max in Eagle gang. So it's like utna purana wo ek hai. So I really love that character a lot. It had several. I mean, he loves his sister. He has this girl who he really is after. He's really head over heels over. But then towards the end, there's this character arc also about his father. So a lot of things. So I really love that character. So,
I want to tell you something.
Anyone who wants to make a spin-off of Eagle Gang movie, please contact Delzad Hiwale. Himanshu, go on.
Yeah, so I know that the stereotype that Delzad thinks he is put in is the cute, lovable guy, right? But the way I've seen him, right? I've seen the short films that have come out from our college. I have seen him do something else entirely. Like, I've only seen him do like a Kahir, a Cowman, and
there, I'll tell you why that is. 1 second.
then the one which I made with him,
because we are all edge boys. That's because we are directing him, and we all want to be damn edgy and cool and like dark.
So this movie, I'll tell you what, this movie seems to be a part of that universe. The films that have come out of SIMC, this suddenly becomes a part of that. And I'll tell you what is happening. Okay, the larger picture that I see is that in Hollywood, different sections of actors come up, right? Different, like, Pele, Brad Pitt and all were there, right? And they were all the good-looking heroes, the Tom Cruise and the Brad Pitts and stuff. So they look really good, and they bash up people, right? They're spies and stuff. But the recent crop of actors are, Robert Pattinson, who does like The Lighthouse,
Who cries,
and Good Times. Then there is Timothy Chalamet who does, a beautiful boy or
Timothy Chalamet, Delzad could pass off as a Timothy Chalamet, I feel. He has the same face structure, no? Have you ever
exactly.
felt
Even I
that,
thought
Delzad?
I
Kind of
Have you
hair.
ever he looks like Indian Timothy Chalamet, no? You should project yourself as that. थोड़ा
exactly.
बाल
Even
वाल
I
उसके
thought
ऐसा
that.
कर ले.
Even I thought that. But what I'm trying to say is the current crop of like Dev Patel and these people, right?
Yeah.
They are coming across as these people who are already down, already very grungy, and the characters that they play are already very tormented. And I feel like Delzad is part of that crop somehow, not away from Hollywood, part of the Indian subcontinent, of course, but somehow the crop of actors who are
I
doing
think,
roles which are more.
yeah, you know what everyone was saying that his eyes are damn expressive, and that you're saying about this torment thing. I think Delzad will always get like great role. He'll do very well in roles which are very, very physical and very body language, where it's a lot of staring at just his face. Because I feel like that, like you do have that face of, something a camera can stay at, and that is, I don't think that is very common. Like in this, I'll give you an example. In this Ankahi Kahaniya, only in the first part of the film, the Abhishek Banerjee is the name of the actor. Yeah. So he also has that quality, I feel. He has that quality. You have that. Like there are certain actors who have that thing of. I think there is and I say this in a good way. There is an offness about your face. It's not a generic face, and I think that kind of.
What Kashyap also says while hiring, he says that I cast faces most of the time because he finds interesting looking, and I mean, it's not about good looking or bad looking. It's about something that can hold you, right?
Exactly.
मेरी शक्ल देखे कोई थूकेगा भी नहीं, but Delzad की शक्ल पे कैमरा
कोई बात नहीं भरत, ऐसा क्या हो गया?
5 सेकंड कैमरा रुकेगा ना उधर. But yeah, no, I'm just kidding, guys. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
अच्छा एक और I want to plug in Delzad's movie, which he doesn't talk about for some reason.
Are you going to talk about that one?
Which one?
I'm going to talk about Bubblegum.
Yeah, even I was going to talk about Bubblegum too.
It's Delzad's first movie, okay? Like he doesn't talk about it, right? It's your first one, right?
No, it's not like I don't talk about it, but to be honest, not a lot of people know about it. Like to begin with, very few people watch the film. No, complete your question.
No, so I have seen it with you. I've seen the whole movie with you.
Yeah, we have seen it together during the internship.
Yeah, and I think that movie is still stuck with me because it's a very personal, and I relate to it personally. And I think you should plug it, like you should talk about it because it's something that is very socially charged.
Yeah,
it doesn't
I think
seem socially charged from the poster and all that.
I'm not.
No, so I think the marketing of the film was done in a way that it was presented as this romantic film.
Teenage
But it
romance kind of
had,
thing.
yeah, it had several layers to it, which includes my brother who is playing a deaf and mute in the film. That was a huge aspect, and the whole this character is a really aggressive character because he's not given a lot of attention, Vedant, and so normally I think it kind of breaks the conventional norm of how we focus on in films. Mostly it is we focus on the kid who is we empathize with the kid who is who has a certain disability. But in this film, we are made to empathize with this character who is so there it was pretty deep that way. I honestly enjoyed working a lot on the film because not a lot of people know this, but I did Bubblegum after Chittagong. So Bubblegum, and Chittagong was a very different character. Chittagong, I was playing this kid who is not very sure about what to do, what not to do, whether to join a rebellion or not. In Bubblegum, this guy's a complete aggressive, tantrum throwing kid. And that transition, and to be very honest, I do credit myself to take that because I was at an age where I didn't understand what versatility is and all. I was just a kid wanting to do films. But the fact that, I really enjoyed that transition, I really enjoyed, in fact, I did certain things in that film, which I don't know whether people might notice or not, but I changed my eyebrows in the film. And no one knows this, not even the director.
Did you know? Watch the film? Like what?
No. So when I went to meet him itself, I did it.
अच्छा तभी से अच्छा शुरू से okay.
Because I wanted this. So I was like 13 and 14 at that point of time. So the fact that I did that at that age, I find it really cool. That okay, hey, that's really cool. So so there are things like this. And I don't talk about it a lot because not a lot of people have watched the film. Sadly, it's on YouTube. So if you guys could go and watch it,
Nice.
I'll just give a log line if I think thoda unclear hai to people who don't know about it. It's Delzad has a brother, and his elder brother is mute and deaf, and he's also differently abled, I think. So what's happening is the attention is going to the elder brother, while the younger brother is not getting the attention a lot in the society and in the friend circle. And because of that, the younger brother, played by Delzad, is getting aggressive and agitated. So the trailer, if you look at the trailer, it shows Delzad and a very popular actress,
Apurva Arora. She's, I think Bharat, she was your colleague also, no? At some point in Pocket. Okay.
So it shows them as a, the trailer looks like a romantic comedy, but the film is guys, a little different.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. मेरे को निकलना है. Something's come up, but it's not like serious or anything. I just have to leave. Sorry.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Bye,
Thank
Bharat.
you for joining us, Bharat.
Thanks, guys, and really congratulations again on the movie.
Thank you
and
so much.
You get all the negative roles out there. Chalo, you guys carry on. Bye.
See you, Bharat. Bye.
Yeah. So
now we can bitch about him nicely. Sorry. I'm kidding.
नहीं, movie का logline तो वही है, and it's interesting. I have seen the end of it, and I also have I had discussions with Delzad about it, very particular, because I wanted to see something else from the main storyline, which kind of got diverted, and we ended up watching more of something else, which is what Delzad is also talking about. So maybe if you have the time to watch Bubblegum as well,
please do watch the film, because I mean, a lot of films it's very disheartening, no, when because of marketing, which is not the film isn't positioned in a way
I don't think it is the fault of because at that point of time it was just the time where the change was coming, where non-conventional cinema was being appreciated. We were in that phase of that change in 2011. So I think it's not the marketing's fault also, it's just luck, I think. I mean, if today it would have come out on like OTT or something, I'm sure a lot of people would have watched it and enjoyed it. So I think that.
Okay. So Himanshu, do you have any other questions on this? Or if you don't, then we can go to our recommendations.
No, let's do the recommendations.
Okay. So Delzad, every episode of the podcast, by the way, I don't know if you remember, but when we started out this podcast, when we used to drunkenly record this in Himanshu's house in Bombay,
I was there.
You were there, if you remember, in the background. And you were laughing at a lot of, because at that time you used to only do like shit rants. कि तब 5 लोग सुनते थे, अब 25 लोग सुनते हैं. So it's you can see we've really progress, guys. So so that at the end of every episode we give recommendations, which can be anything: book, film, YouTube video, song, album, anything that you want to recommend to our viewers and listeners. So Himanshu, I'll start with your recommendation for this week's episode. कुछ तो recommend कर दे हिमांशु. I don't give a shit. You have to recommend something.
यार मैंने बहुत कुछ देखा है, but अभी दिमाग में ऐसे what do I say? But I just watched Heat. It's a Michael Mann movie. It's a very popular movie, but थोड़ा पुराना है. So अगर तुम लोगों ने नहीं देखा, it's a very fun movie to watch. And it has Robert De Niro in it. So and Al Pacino. Robert De Niro versus Al Pacino. So it was. Have you seen it, Aditya? And
I saw bits of it in college, but I've never actually. I know it's like a must-watch and all that, but I have to देखी नहीं.
I think it was kind of that film kind of inspired The Dark Knight thoda sa, in terms of the way it is. I don't know whether it's like it's the same film or not, but it has Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, right?
Yeah.
It is that film. Then I think Chris Nolan was kind of.
So Heat inspired all the Fast and Furious movies, all the Christopher Nolan movies, and also to an extension you can see Heat in all the Dhoom movies. If you
Hmm.
start watching all these movies and
Like
then
it
come
made a
back to Heat,
template for the heist,
Yeah,
heisty
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
films, right? Yeah.
yeah, so it's fun.
Hmm.
It's a good fun watch.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Delza, do you want to recommend anything to our
I have been
people?
reading a lot of biographies throughout the lockdown. So
Hmm.
I would really like to recommend Michael Jackson Moonwalk. There is obviously Shah Rukh Khan. There is the biography of Ronaldo. So I've been reading a lot of these, and it kind of helps you in like stay inspired and keep chasing your dreams. So yeah, I would really
Nice.
love if people read a lot of those biographies. Shah Rukh Khan, Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jackson. So yeah.
Nice. Nice. So Jishnu Vora says, hey guys, late for the party, what's cooking? Bhai, abhi tu isko rewind karke dekh lena, because now I'm just going to give my recommendation for the week, which is a podcast by The Seen and the Unseen. It's an episode with the author Josie Joseph. He is an investigative reporter and author, and he's written a new book called The Silent Coup about India, and he's basically explains how the Indian deep state works. The deep state of any country is basically the undercover operations or any like torture chambers or the things that governments do over and above their what is allowed to them. So so yeah, it's a book about that, and it's very interesting. I haven't read the book yet, but the podcast, which is like almost 3 hours long, with Josie Joseph, is very interesting and tells you some fascinating stories about India that will make you very scared. So yeah, please go and listen to that, and I guess read Josie Joseph's book also, The Silent Coup. Um, so if there isn't anything else, this is we would conclude the episode with Delzad Hiwale. Delzad, thank you so much for
Thank
Thank you,
joining
bro.
you.
us
Thank you.
and chilling with us, and congratulations on your film.
Thank
And
you.
yeah.
Thank you guys for saying such nice things about it.
Yeah, of course. And
This is fun.
yeah, and we shall hang out at some point when you're in Bombay. Chalo. With
Sure,
that, we'll say bye to the audience, and I'm gonna stop the live